Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to do a preparation guide for the upcoming Treasure Map VS Bege, in which I will of course explain the teams I am going to use versus every single boss and also offer replacements wherever possible. Without further ado, let's get to it. The first mini-boss is Duval, and we are going to use 5+ Garp, the newest Kizuna free-to-play unit, as double captain. If of course you don't have the super evolution of him, I am pretty certain the 5-star version also works. Have in mind though, we are not gaining access to his super type here, so if you want to do that, make certain you add the corresponding units in the team. Garp is very important here. By activating both of his specials as a captain, he will completely deal with damage reduction and defense up. But before we do that, of course, we want to remove the special bind that is present, and Treasure Map Film Red Chopper, another free-to-play unit which is recommended, is awesome for that. He doesn't only remove the special bind, he also removes the burn, and we do not have to worry about not hitting our perfects. The only other unit that is technically here for utility is Hina, who can provide us with a damage reduction shield to, of course, easily survive the after defeat damage. I don't even know if a damage reduction shield is necessary, but might as well have it. If you don't have Hina, of course, you can replace her with any unit that can reduce the after defeat damage, or even not replace her if you have enough HP to tank it. The other two units, Treasure Map Mugiwara 56 Sanji and Treasure Map Frankie, Treasure Map Legend Sanji obviously, he's not a free-to-play unit, are only here because they are Sai, they have color advantage over Duval, and they can offer damage. Of course, you can replace them with whatever helps you. Very straightforward team, and its multiplier is 4.89 times. The second mini-boss is Strength Law, and we are going to use a team with Bartolomeo and Cavendish as captains. They are not necessary as captains, but they are boosted by 1.35 times, so might as well. Our friend captain here will be the last Treasure Map unit, Fujitora, and because we have a captain swap in the final stage, if we have Fujitora, our Treasure Map Fujitora, in the bottom right spot, then he will also become captain, having him as a double captain after that, and of course having a very easy time. He's also boosted by 1.4 times, the highest free-to-play boosted unit in the Treasure Map, so might as well use him twice. As a sailor, because of his sailor ability, he can remove the blindness completely, and when he becomes captain, we are also going to activate his special after the preemptive, and he can remove the chain lock completely because it will be a low one at 1.1 times. Also, of course, make certain you have him in the bottom right spot. Now, because there is an interruption when you give a color affinity boost, and we have Rage Zoro here, who can remove damage reduction completely, but unfortunately also in combination with that gives us a color affinity boost. To avoid getting the color affinity boost from Zoro's special, I am going to use Rare Recruit Ace support, who will give us a color affinity boost. That is not important for damage, it is only important so we can use Zoro and avoid the interruption. If you don't want to use Zoro or don't have Ace, just replace Zoro with another damage reduction remover. Fujitora's super type ability can also give us an uninterruptible color affinity boost, and then in that case Ace wouldn't be needed, but we do not have access to Fujitora's super type with this specific team. The last utility unit that is important is Treasure Map Izo, who will of course manipulate all of the block slots into matching. Even though he is not a Q unit and doesn't have color advantage, we don't really care, he's only here for matching slots. The other unit on the team is just a free-to-play Q unit that is also driven, meaning that this Moria, the Zoro and Bardo Cavendish can get the attack boost from the Bardo Cavendish special to do maximum damage by ending the chain with them. So Moria is not important if you don't have him and you want to replace him. You can do so by using whichever unit helps you. A fully free-to-play team here actually, if we consider Bartolomeo and Cavendish now free-to-play because of the Pirate Rumble season, and its multiplier is 5.46 times. The next mini-boss will be Kid, and he technically is strength, but he can also change his type in the final stage to int. Essentially, just to deal with everything here, have the Shanks crew as double captain. They deal with the special bind, they deal with the block slots, they deal with the chain debuffs, and they also deal with resilience, because as captains, when in their dual form, they can do end of turn damage. So literally the only unit you need is the Shanks crew. A cool trick is to enter with one captain on the Psy side, the other captain on the Q side, so you can definitely have one of its color no matter what kid decides to be. And then just fill your team with units that can give you damage and are either Psy or Q to have color advantage in one of the two situations where kid can become strength or int. For example, the units I am using, Treasure Map Garb can give us an attack boost. Zoro Sanji, the Treasure Map Dual unit, I am only using because Sanji is Psy. Smoothie Oven, another Treasure Map Dual unit, because just like the Shanks crew, their two sides are Q and Psy, so we can have color advantage no matter what, and they can also provide us with an ore boost. And finally, I am using a Psy unit. They are not a free-to-play one though, so if you want to replace them, feel free to do so with whatever helps you. Another quick tip in case you do not have the Shanks crew, if you only use them as friend captain, they still work perfectly, just make certain you replace the unit in the captain spot with someone that fits properly. Lots of units can work here, even Psy super type free to play Luffy. Super easy mini boss, and the multiplier for this team is 5.29 times. The next mini boss will be Psy Kuma, and we are going to use Treasure Map Legend V4 Blackbeard as double captain. I'm pretty certain he is not necessary, you can also work with Super Tandem Kid as captain, but the main reason I preferred Blackbeard is simply because he provides a multiplier of 1.25 times instead of 1.2 times that Kid can provide. Blackbeard will help us in the sense that his super class ability can make all of our slots into matching T and D, because they will guaranteed be type slots, because they will be turned to unfavorable, and he can also provide us with chain boundaries. Now, if you didn't have Blackbeard, for example, and you had Kid, we don't really care about the chain boundaries, because by using Treasure Map All-In, we can get a chain lock, and then also she can reduce the damage reduction while giving us more boosting. Since we have 6 turns of damage reduction though, and All-In only removes 5, we need another damage reduction removing unit, and I'm using Treasure Map Rare Recruit Sirium, who is very good here because not only can he help with damage reduction removal, he can also completely remove attack down. A very important component of this team is Carrot Wanda, because they can resist Special Rewind and then provide everyone with their specials back, because every other unit in this team is Powerhouse. Carrot Wanda is the only non-Powerhouse unit in this team. If you want to replace them, you just need someone to give everyone else their specials back. Now, the final unit is Treasure Map Moria. I am mainly using him because he is int and powerhouse, but you can use whatever unit you want in his place. If, for example, you want a replacement for Siriu, you can replace Siriu with an attack down remover and then Moria with a damage reduction remover. For example, Kizuna 5+ Q the Flamingo can help you remove the attack down, and then Colosseum Q Magellan alongside Treasure Map All-In can completely remove damage reduction. A tip I can give you for the special reverse, if you do not have Carrot Wanda and maybe you don't have another unit like Treasure Map Rare Recruit Jesus Burgess or even the new Drake that can give you special cooldown reduction, if you use Super Tandem Kid and you have access to his super class ability, then he can also reduce your damage, but only for driven and striker characters, so have that in mind if you decide to make a lot of replacements. For my specific team though, with double V for Blackbeard, the multiplier is 4.03 times. Versus the main boss, Int Kizaru, I am going to use Bone Clay as my captain, with a friend captain the new Treasure Map Legend Bonnie. She can be extremely helpful. For stage number 2, for the paralysis removal, we are going to use the new Numbers free-to-play unit from the current point event. For the despair, also the numbers can help us, and alongside sockets of course, completely remove despair. All of our slots will be turned to unfavorable and all of the type slots will be made non-beneficial. Bone Clay's special, since it makes all of our slots RCV, can be huge help with that. And Bone Clay will also provide us with a base attack boost for everyone, and with his super type, which we are going to activate, he can also provide us with a chain lock. The RCV slots he provides, in combination with Bonnie's captain ability that boosts our characters more if they have RCV slots, and all of his damage boosting, can help us power through the 10 million HP barrier and then also beat the mini-boss. The barrier is unfortunately for 2 turns, so it is not easily removed, and Bone Clay is very helpful here simply because of all of the weight he lifts in that stage 2. The only other unit that helps us is essentially the new free-to-play unit because of utility. If you have the new Treasure Map Rare Recruit Blackbeard who removes the 2-turn barrier, maybe by making adjustments you can work something out, but that is my way of dealing with stage 2. For stage number 3, another reason Bone Clay is extremely useful is because he has the Hunger Limit Break ability. If you have it maxed out, he can completely remove the 3 turns of Hunger in the final stage. But our friend Captain, the new Bonnie, also has that Limit Break ability. If she is maxed out, she can completely remove it. At level 1 you get 2 turns of removal, so at least one of your units should be high enough to remove 2 turns, and 1 turn from the other unit, 3 turns of Hunger are completely gone. So just make certain the Limit Break abilities of your Captain and friend Captain add up to at least 3 turns of removal for Hunger, and that is extremely important to remove Hunger with Limit Break abilities, because by activating the April Fool's unit of Kid, Law and Luffy, we are going to be limited to 3 taps, meaning we cannot really waste taps to consume RCV slots and remove Hunger that way. Of course, you may want to replace Luffy, Law and Kid, so let me tell you what they help us with in this team. First of all, they can give us damage reduction, so we can survive the after defeat 100,000 damage that Kizaru will do. Then they can provide us with an ore boost, and they can also be attached with Halloween Ace support, who can reduce bind by 3 turns. 3 turns from Ace, 3 turns from the last month's free-to-play point event unit Yamato, and 3 turns from our sockets equals 9, meaning the top row bind will be completely gone. Halloween Ace is an extremely useful support and one of the only ones in the entire game that can remove 3 turns of bind, so I am pretty certain the entire combination with Luffy, Law and Kid is actually pretty important and very hard to replace. Now have in mind that we are going to use the Yamato special to regain our own specials and reduce paralysis completely from the final stage, because it will be inflicted again, even though it is also inflicted in stage number 2. It's very hard to use a support to remove paralysis because paralysis already appears once, so majority of supports will already activate in stage 2 and not be available for stage 3. So Yamato is a very helpful unit. Now if you are wondering, I do not have Uruz, how do I replace him? Extremely easy. It is actually even free to play to replace him. Just use free to play Sai Robin with Arena Frankie support. That easy. Generally, you need someone to remove the 5 turns of attack down. Whatever combo you want to use, you may use it. Uruz is only here for the attack down removal. Yes, he can also provide an ore boost, but we get that from Luffy, Law, Kid. Yes, he can also provide special cooldown reduction, but we get that from Yamato. So he's not that helpful. But of course, if you do have him, definitely use him for the extra point boost. To deal with the block slots, the only debuff remaining, we are going to activate our friend Captain Bonnie's super class ability, which is accessible because we have Luffy, Law, Kid, so another use for this unit. Bonnie will make all of our slots into RCV, and with her special she will also increase our damage by lots. Don't forget, we only have 3 attacks, so attack with 3 Sai units and you will destroy the enemy. Of course, because the superclass special is not a normal slot changing special, the interruption won't activate. Super strong team for the final boss, and its multiplier is 10.65 times. For the Intrusion Battle versus Bege himself, we are actually going to use Treasure Map All-In as our captain, at least at the start. Actually, because we are using 5+ Kizuna Garb, he will be swapped into the captain position in the final stage. But for that to happen, you need to make certain he has a Luffy, Ace or Sabo as support attached to him. You can use any of these characters you want, and everyone has Story Luffy, so you can even use that if you don't have a better option available to you. Our friend captain for this team will be the Shanks crew, the super evolution of the Shanks crew, and we want to enter on the Q side. That way we can super swap in stage 2 to the Sai side, Shanks, and then activate the Shanks crew, which will help us of course deal with the chain debuff, and because they will be binded obviously first we need to free them. We are going to activate our bind removing units, the bottom row ones, Yamato for 3 turns of removal, and then the Spade Pirates for 5 extra, the remaining ones. From that rare recruit we are also going to get a color affinity boost. From Yamato we are also going to get Threshold, which will help us minimize the after defeat damage. And then from Sankscrew we are going to get a boost in base attack because our captain is Q. We will also have the full board of matching slots because of the super swap and the attack boost to everyone. Something to keep in mind, even though Sankscrew boosts everyone, Treasure Map All-In only boosts Driven and Powerhouse units, not other classes. If you want a replacement for the 2 Spade Pirates, just use another bind removing unit alongside Yamato and your sockets, or just a support and then you can replace that unit with anything that essentially can help you clear or clear more comfortably. In the final stage now, Sankscrew, because they are captain, will completely remove Special Bind. Treasure Map All-In will make all of the block slots we have into matching and also remove Threshold completely. Then after All-In, we want to activate Garp, who will become captain, and then with his special and super type ability, he can completely remove the enemy's defense up, and he will also provide us with a color affinity boost. He will become captain in the place of All-In, and because he became captain in the middle of the quest, he will boost our characters for more. And finally, the only special remaining, Uruz, just to boost our damage. He can give us a very good ore boost and also boost our base attack. We don't need him for utility, only for damage. And for that reason, of course, he is also very easily replaceable. Have in mind that you can use Bon Clay in his place, so someone that can just give you damage boosting, or you can use someone like the new Treasure Map Rare Recruit Blackbeard to help you deal with the barrier. Even someone that applies multiple hits to the barrier can help you. If you don't have that kind of unit, a damage booster will do, because we need to apply the 20 hits on the barrier in order for it to break, and that means that essentially our last 2 attacks will deal proper damage, hence why we need lots of damage boosting. The chain lock from the Sankscrew will still be active in the final stage, so the chain coefficient reduction we don't care about, and we also do not care about the interruption that the main boss provides. This specific team has a multiplier of 7.19 times. And that concludes my preparation guide for the upcoming Treasure Map vs Bege. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments down below, and definitely subscribe to not miss out my quick playthrough guide, which will be released the day the Treasure Map comes out. As always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.